Hi there, I'm Susan Beyer, and this is Fun with Research. Thanks for joining me. We do a lot of thought leadership research for agencies at Audience Audit, for marketing agencies. And one of the most common questions I get from agencies who are thinking about using research as a thought leadership vehicle is, we're not sure what we should talk about in our research. We're not sure what the topic of our research should be. And that's, as I said, very common. So I'm going to give you some things to think about today with respect to your thought leadership research as an agency, and just sort of share with you the 4 things that I think about going into an agency thought leadership research project. Number 1 is the agency's philosophy. Your agency, because of its niche, because of its expertise or whatever, undoubtedly has a philosophy, an opinion about how things should be done in the space that you are serving, how clients should be helping their audiences, what that audience needs, the right vehicles to be using to engage, and how to do it well versus maybe what you're seeing happening elsewhere. And we certainly want to incorporate that philosophy into questions in the survey. First of all, because we want to find out if you're right. If you're off base, the research will tell you. Secondly, if there are things about your perspective that are validated by what audience members are saying in the research, that's a great platform for you to be saying, look, we've had it right all along. Our audience in this space confirms that what we say is true, that this is really important. It gives you a great vehicle to say, look, we're different from everybody else and we really know what we're doing. So number 1 is philosophy. Number 2 is, what are the hot topics of the day? We want to make sure that your research is timely, that it's interesting and helpful to folks. So we want to incorporate research into sort of the things that everybody in the industry is talking about. You know, in 2020, that was COVID. How are businesses operating within COVID? In B2C research, how are consumers responding to the restrictions that COVID has placed on a lot of us? So we want to make sure that topics like that are included in the research so you have something timely to say about them. So that's number 2. Number 3 is attention. You want your research to get attention, whether you're trying to get speaking gigs at conferences or you're just trying to get eyeballs of the people that you are trying to serve. You want to make sure that your research warrants that. Now, you may not know what sort of the aha learning out of your research is going to be, and that's fine because you haven't done the research yet. But we can certainly incorporate questions that are likely to create an aha moment depending on how the results come out of the survey. And if you don't ask, you don't know. So we definitely want to put some things in there that if we got a certain result would really surprise people. And that's that sort of light bulb thing that can really make your research stand out from all the other research that's being done in your space. So that's number 3 is attention. And number 4 is content. If you're going to make an investment into thought leadership research, you want to make sure that you have enough content to carry you throughout the year after you conduct that research so that you can do this on an annual basis and have something new to talk about all the time. So we want to make sure that the research encompasses a broad enough scope from a question standpoint that when we get the results in, we've got enough to work with for 12 monthly content topics that come out of the research that you can share what the research said, but then also share your unique philosophy, your experience with clients, case studies that you have, work that you can bring to the fore, resources that you've created or whatever related to those topics. So we want to make sure that it's in depth enough and we've got enough breadth that you really have a lot to work with for the subsequent year for your content program. So that's number 4. Philosophy, hot topics of the day, what's going to get attention or that aha moment, and making sure that you have enough content for 12 months after you release the research. And that's what I think about going into a study. You know, we're not going to know what the study's going to say until we do the research. We're not going to be able to title this and say, hey, we have research that shows something remarkable, because we don't know what it's going to say till we do it. But you can certainly build research to ensure that all of these topics are covered in it so that you have something to say on all of them, whether it's what you expect to be able to say or not. And we want to make sure that that research is built for you and that it supports your efforts as an agency. And you should be talking about all of these things with your team and your researcher if you're considering thought leadership research. If you want to talk about any of this, just reach out to me, Susan at audienceaudit.com. Happy to talk to you about any of this. I hope you found this helpful. We'll see you next week on Fun with Research. Thanks.